A warm welcome to Disky Talk with Luyolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, I discuss all things Afcon 2021 as I discuss post-match analysis as Nigeria have just defeated Sudan 3-1. So, coming up into this encounter then, Nigeria did come off the back of a very dominant win against Egypt, where they beat Egypt 1-0, but were very, very dominant in that game. And then, with Sudan, they did draw 0-0 against Guinea-Bissau. So, coming up into this encounter then, Nigeria were always favorites, and they were then obviously looking to get the 3 points, which then would secure them a spot within the round of 16. With Sudan then, they were obviously then looking to try and compete and try at least get a point and even go on to shock Nigeria. However, that wasn't the case as the match ended 3-1. So when you have a look at it then, Nigeria will be represented by the blue team, and then Sudan will be represented by the red team. Coming up into this encounter then, Nigeria do play with a 4-4-2 system, which at times becomes a 4-2-2-2-2. So, yeah. So, when we get into it then, in goals, they did start with Okoye, as this was an unchanged lineup, as they went with the very same lineup against Sudan that they instituted against Egypt. So, Okoye in goals, a back four of Aina at right back, as the right centre half, they went with Ikong, the captain. At left centre half, they went with Omeru, and then at left back, they went with Sanusi. So when you have a look at this defense, then they are quite a solid defense, and I think they had a very good display. And throughout the game, they were untroubled. And whenever then Sudan did try a break forward and penetrate into the final third, they were able to deal with it. You know, it's just on the day they just. Sudan just didn't have enough quality to penetrate and break down this defense. However, then we did see Aina give away a penalty, and one that needed Mr. Victor Gomes to actually have a look at VAR, and then a penalty was given, which was slotted away by Olokoya from Sudan. Otherwise, I was very impressed then by Aina at right back. I think he had a very, very solid performance, especially considering then how this Nigerian side then imposed themselves. So at times, he'd offer that width for this Nigerian side, and what I like about him then is that he's very comfortable on the ball, and he was also at times then able to cut in and ensure that he progresses the ball for this Nigerian side. And when you have a look then at their system, which is a 4-4-2, which becomes then a hybrid of a 4-2-2-2, in the first half we did see Chikwueze start. Chikwueze at times would keep the width, and then he would at times invert. But we did see Iwobi coming on, and when Iwobi came on, Iwobi would occupy the half space. That's when you'd see Aina go on the overlap and offer that width for this Nigerian side. Very happy with Aina's performance, as I thought that he was very, very solid right back, even though he did then give away that penalty. Moving on then right along, within the heart of midfield, they started with Aribo and Ndidi, and I must say then that I was quite impressed by Ndidi within the heart of midfield, as he was able then to ensure that Nigeria were able then to control the tempo of the game, and they were able then to also ensure that whenever Sudan did look to progress the ball into consolidation phase, he was then key in ensuring that he'd break down those attacks and that Sudan couldn't penetrate into the final third. And also a very good display by Aribo as well, as in the first half at times he did venture forward and break into the box. I think that he could have had a goal actually, but yeah, within the heart of midfield, a solid performance by those in the heart of midfield. Moving on then right along, when we have a look at the two, you had Simon and you then had Chikwueze. So when you have a look then at Simon, in my opinion, was man of the match. I think he had a very, very good match. And what I like about Simon then is that he's very quick, very tricky, and very expressive on the ball. And with Simon then, he does like to occupy vertical zone one. And he then looks to always beat his man one-on-one. And what I like about him is that he can go on the outside or he can look to cut in, which is what he does most of the time. And when you have a look at Simon then and how key he was in this game, he was key then in ensuring that Nigeria got their first goal by virtue of the fact that there was a long throw in by Aina from the right-hand side. Ball goes into the box. Simon holds the ball up very well. He lays it off for Chikwezi. Chikwezi finishes. And also when you have a look at it then, second half, the goal that Simon scores, he picks up the ball on the left-hand side. He looks to cut in. He drifts into that half space. And he then plays that ball into his striker. The striker holds it up, lays it off. He gets onto it and then he finishes very, very well. So overall then, I was very impressed with Simon's performance, as I thought that he was the man of the match, and he was key then in ensuring that this Nigerian side were able to penetrate within the final third. Also then using his skill and using his trickery. This is a player then who I think stands a very good chance of becoming player of the tournament. That's if Nigeria go on far, because he is very key then for this Nigerian side whenever they look then to attack and penetrate into the final third. And then when you look at it then, up front, they did start with Iheanacho and Awoniyi. And Awoniyi then did get his goal as well, even though he didn't know much about it, where the ball just ricocheted off his head and went in, which was actually then poor by the goalkeeper, because I do think that he should have stopped that. And when you have a look at Nigeria overall, the gulf in class and the quality that's shown on the day, you know, they were just too strong for the Sudanese side, and they were even then able to bring on Ahmed Musa. They brought on Iwobi, and even the subs that they brought on, you know, they were able then to ensure that Nigeria saw out the game. And at the end of the day, what I liked about this performance is that it was very controlled, and they were able then to dictate terms. And without the ball, they instituted a mid-block. So what they were looking to do then against the Sudanese side was deny them the space in behind. Because when you have a look at Sudan on the counter-attack, they're very quick. And in Yassin and Gaba, those are two players who are very tricky and very quick, who could have caught them out on the day. But what Nigeria did very well then is that they instituted a mid-block. So they didn't press them right high up to leave space in behind, which is what they did very well then. And they were just looking then to ensure that Sudan couldn't play through the lines. And whenever they did, you had Ndidi in the heart of midfield, and you had Aribo as well in the heart of midfield, who looked to break that down. And Nigerians just really, really controlled the game very well. And game management on their part was absolutely superb, you know, because these type of games, if they underestimated Sudan and played an open game, you know, Sudan could have possibly caught them on the counter, and Sudan could have possibly sprung a surprise. The most important thing is that then they get the 3 points, they get the 3 goals, which ensures that they then qualify for the round of 16. And I do foresee them then going on to finish top of the table, and Nigeria looking very, very strong, and they are one of the strongest teams within the tournament. And yeah, and I like what they're developing into, especially the look of Simon and Kelechi Iheanacho. Also, when you think about Iheanacho's link-up play, which is also very good, he does tend to drop into vertical zone 3. Sometimes he would drop into the half space, and we did see him slip in a couple of good balls. So very impressive display then by Nigeria. Very controlled. Game management was key, and they did that very well on the day. Moving on then right along, when we have a look at Sudan then lined up with a 4-2-3-1. And when you have a look at Sudan then, in goals, they did start with Asharin. At right back, they had Saeed. They had, as 2 centre-backs, they had Namer as the right-sided centre-back. As the left-sided centre-back, they had Mustafa. And then they had Manzini at left-back. And when you have a look at this defence, then I really think that they struggled to deal with this Nigerian side, especially whenever Nigeria then were able to ensure that they would overload the half spaces and play those penetrative passes in behind, especially in the first half, where they were struggling with dealing with the ball that would always be slipped in between the centre back and the left back, then being Mustafa and Manzini. They really struggled, and at times they left that gap, which then was the reason why Nigeria could always slip that ball in, and they were attacking from that side. But a player then, I must say, that I was impressed by, even though he did struggle against Simon, was Said, because he was then able to ensure that he just kept going and he kept battling, and yeah, at the end of the day, I must say that he really did give his best, but he was coming up against Simon. And one moment then of brilliance from him, then Said, was the ball that he delivers, towards the end of the game, and if then his striker gets onto that one, it becomes 3-2, that was one good ball that he played in. But yeah, overall then, I think Sudan just really struggled, and the quality that Nigerians have then, they just couldn't contend. But Said then is a very hard-working player, and one player then I could say that could really grow then when you have a look at his career as well. Moving on then, within the heart of midfield, they had Walidi, and then they had Rashid. Rashid is also another player who I thought battled very well within the heart of midfield. It's just at the end of the day, the Nigerians just had too much quality for this Sudanese side. And then when you move it on right along, they had Yassine, who started as the number 10/second striker. With Yassine, then he did have glimpses within the first half. However, I just feel that his decision making at times was poor, and then he just faded. He just faded away, and he couldn't really then influence things for this Sudanese side and get that goal for them. And then when you have a look at it, then up front, they did start with Asa, Omar off the one side, and then they had Gaba off the other side. And yeah, at the end of the day, the Sudanese side couldn't really get into the game, and they really struggled to penetrate within the final third. And the gulf in class and the quality then, is what's shown at the end of the day when it came to the Nigerians. And yeah, they were just too strong for this Sudanese side. However, then it is 3 to Nigeria and 1 to Sudan. Nigeria then do qualify to the next round of the Afcon 2021, and they're looking very strong, and they're looking poised to actually advance to the latter stages of the Afcon. So thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Liolo. It is Afcon 2021 as Nigeria beat Sudan 3-1. Signing out.